No one enters your life without a reason. Neither the pain you carry in your chest, nor those questions that haunt you in silence, are there by chance. Every encounter, every person, and every situation is precisely adjusted to deliver a lesson that your soul has yet to learn. And when you observe how these lessons arrive, a disturbing pattern emerges. There are people who, without searching too hard, attract the right people and the best opportunities, as if they were a magnet. You, on the other hand, the more you choose, the more you strive, and the more you fight to make things work, the more you see how many of your choices end in frustration. And then that deep question arises. Why is it that while I move forward, life moves backward? Why is it that when I say, "Let it happen," life responds, "Not here"? Look around you. Your friends, that person you like, your debts, the opportunities that appear, none of that comes from the outside. Everything is attracted by a silent magnet located in the deepest part of your mind. Perhaps you do not realize it, but your mind works like a massive projector. What you feed inside a fear, a belief, a lack, ends up manifesting outside in the form of people and situations that confirm it. If the idea that you are not valuable enough lives inside you, even the kindest person might pass you by, while you end up drawing closer to the exact person who will make you feel small. Your mind seeks to confirm what it already believes. Modern science explains this clearly. Neuroscience calls this the Reticular Activating System, the brain mechanism that filters millions of stimuli and shows you only what your attention is focused on. You create what you believe. You see what your mind decides to highlight. Thousands of years earlier, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius summarized this truth in a single phrase. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. What you think defines your destiny. What you hold in your mind ends up appearing in your life. Here lies the secret of Stoicism. The people you meet are reflections of the color of your soul. That narcissistic partner you criticize is actually a mirror of the part of you that never learned to set boundaries. That boss who crushes you reflects the internal part that still lives in victim mode. In this video, we are going to remove the mask from those characters that repeat themselves over and over in your life. You will see that they did not arrive by chance. You hired them yourself with your beliefs, and both philosophy and science can prove it. And most importantly, we will talk about how to break this cycle, because every person who enters your life is the external manifestation of an internal belief. If that belief does not change, the same actors will continue to appear on different stages. Transformation does not begin when others change. It begins when you stop feeding the wrong belief. Just as an entire tree feels when a single leaf trembles, the smallest change within you can initiate a profound transformation in your whole life. Imagine that in your life, people appear over and over who leave you halfway, who fail you at the most critical moment. Epictetus, the philosopher born a slave, explained it with a clarity that remains brutal today. We are disturbed, not by events or people, but by the views which we take of them. Your mindset functions as a filter that interprets everything you see. If that filter is damaged, reality becomes distorted before your eyes. Modern science confirms this with confirmation bias, a neuronal mechanism through which your brain selects only the information that supports your current beliefs. Therefore, if deep down you carry the idea of "I am not worthy of love," your brain dismisses loyal and affectionate people as if they were irrelevant. But when someone cold, distant, and emotionally inaccessible appears, your mind reacts instantly. This feels familiar. Go there. This is known as resonance. It is not magic or romantic destiny. It is the interaction between your nervous system, your internal beliefs, and what the Stoics called logos, the intelligence that orders the universe. For them, everything is connected through sympatheia, the idea that every being is attracted by what vibrates on the same frequency. That is why, When someone hurts you, many times you are not seeing their actual behavior, but the reactivation of a wound you have carried for years without resolving. Life uses an external blow to show you the internal fracture you are ignoring. The human mind is an ecosystem. Emotions, beliefs, and decisions form a network of invisible threads. If one breaks, the entire system destabilizes. Marcus Aurelius described it this way: "What hurts the bee hurts the hive." This means that the pain someone awakens in you reveals a wound within your emotional structure. When you heal that internal root, your hive, your entire life, regains its natural balance. To understand this better, it is worth remembering a psychological experiment as surprising as it is disturbing, conducted in the year 1980 at Dartmouth University. In this study, researchers applied makeup to several participants to create fake scars, grotesque wounds, and deep cuts that looked terrifying. The idea was for them to go out and interact with other people and then describe how others reacted to their deformity. However, just before they went out, the makeup artists pretended to do a final touch-up and, without anyone noticing, completely wiped away the scars. The participants left convinced they still carried those horrible marks. When they returned, everyone claimed to have been treated with contempt. They said people looked at them with disgust, avoided their gaze, and even spoke to them rudely. Some even described specific insults, but the reality was completely different. They had no scars, and nobody had treated them poorly. The aggression came from their internal belief: "I am marked. I am defective." They projected their insecurities onto people who had done nothing. This phenomenon is exactly what the Stoics call projection. When you are trapped in a victim role, even the most normal interactions seem like rejection, betrayal, or abandonment. Your mind does not seek peace. It seeks to confirm what it believes. Seneca synthesized it precisely by saying, "The gladiator mirrors his courage in the arena, the wise man in adversity." The difficult people who appear in your life are not there to destroy you or to punish you. From a Stoic perspective, they are your training partners. They arrive to shake you, to pull you out of that state of emotional comfort that keeps you half asleep. Character is not built when everything is calm. Just as muscles need resistance to grow, the soul needs challenges and people who activate your weak points. Here emerges a powerful paradox. Those who irritate you the most, who test you the most, who touch your wounds the most, are often the ones you need the most to grow. The pain you feel when faced with someone who humiliates you does not come from their strength, but from your deep need for approval. That person is merely holding up a mirror that reflects your emotional dependency. Furthermore, these people do not appear at just any moment. They emerge when you are most vulnerable after a breakup, a loss, a failure, or in those silences where you feel empty. When everything is going well, they never show up. Why? Because a weakened wall falls with the first storm, and life takes advantage of that exact moment to show you where the crack is. If at that moment you feel of little value, you will attract someone who will confirm that feeling. And if you do not attract them, your mind will interpret any innocent gesture as an offense. Just like in the Dartmouth experiment, everything happens within you. Remember it always. You do not see reality, you see what you are. Marcus Aurelius said it better than anyone. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. Why do you find yourself over and over in the same types of stories? Why are you always attracted to emotionally inaccessible people? Why do narcissists, manipulators, or those emotional vampires who drain your energy appear in your life? From a Stoic viewpoint, this is not a chain of bad luck. It is a brutal mirror that nature places in front of you. Epictetus used to warn his students, "If anyone provokes you, remember that it is your own judgment that provokes you." The people who arrive in your life are physical proof of the internal knots you have not yet untied. If you constantly cross paths with people who abandon you, on the surface, it looks like just another betrayal. But through the Stoic lens, this is the external manifestation of your deep fear of being alone, or the belief that you cannot sustain yourself. As long as you keep believing you are not enough, life will present you with situations where others walk away not to punish you, but to teach you that you can be whole, even in solitude. It is not a punishment. It is training. The master, that painful relationship, stays until you learn the lesson. That is why it is so important to observe your emotions with honesty. It is the only way to recognize when someone enters your life as a teacher. The intensity of your emotional reaction always reveals what you need to see. Marcus Aurelius said that intense feelings, whether anger, rejection, or even instant fascination, do not speak about the other person, but about your own internal impressions. If you meet someone and, for no apparent reason, feel an overwhelming repulsion or anger, stop. That person is likely activating a part of you that you have tried to ignore: your pride, your passivity, your laziness, your insecurity. And in the same way, when you idealize someone from the very first second, it is also an illusion. You are projecting onto that person the strength, validation, or love that you feel you lack inside. The person in front of you is just a screen. The movie you see projected is the script you carry inside your mind. So next time an intense emotion appears in front of someone, do not point your finger immediately. Stop and ask yourself Marcus Aurelius's question: does this pain truly come from what they did, or does it come from the meaning I gave to it? That answer is the key that can pull you out of the repetitive cycle in which you have been trapped. The Stoics compared life to a massive theatrical stage. In that play, you are the protagonist, but you do not write the script. Nature, or what they call destiny, writes it. Sometimes a character enters the scene and completely changes the course of the story. A teacher might say a phrase that shakes your worldview. A stranger speaks to you while you wait for the bus, recommends a book, and that book becomes your new path. From the outside, it looks like coincidence, but to the Stoic eye, it is the move of the director of the game, destiny, introducing a new actor into your path. These encounters are designed to dismantle your previous identity and push you toward a deeper, stronger version of yourself. The irony of destiny is that the people who arrive in your life are not the ones you want, but the ones you need to evolve. If there is repressed cowardice within you, life will place someone in front of you who confronts you with that fear, not to destroy you, but so that you recognize it and transform it into courage. If deep down you fear being seen or discovered, you will attract someone who ignores or abandons you. That painful experience is training to learn how to stand alone. These are not punishments, they are tests. The Stoics called them amor fati. Love your destiny, because every challenge contains the seed of your growth, the lesson your soul needs to learn, and the person capable of teaching it to you meet at the exact right moment. In Stoic psychology, people are not merely people, they are roles assigned on your path toward virtue. Destiny pushes the corresponding actor onto the stage, depending on the exam you have to take at that moment. Sometimes the direct one appears someone who tells you truths you do not want to hear and confronts you with your flaws. They make you uncomfortable, but they improve you. Other times the tester arrives the person who tests your patience, your self-control, and your inner strength. Without them, you would not know how resilient you can be. At certain moments, the messenger of truth breaks in someone brutally honest, who shatters your mistaken judgments and shows you a clearer path. And sometimes the sculptor appears, that individual who strikes your ego, shakes your pride, and dismantles your excesses, just like a carver who removes pieces of stone to reveal the essential shape. There is also the companion of the road, that person who does not rescue you, but reminds you how to stand up on your own. Perhaps that is the reason you are watching this video. You may feel strangely attracted to these people, or you may reject them immediately. In both cases, the encounter represents something much deeper than compatibility. Epictetus explained it this way: remember that you are an actor in a play, the nature of which is determined by the director. If his pleasure is that you should act a poor man, see that you act it well. If a cripple, if a governor, if a private person, your obligation is to play well the part given to you. The Stoics believed that we are not isolated individuals lost in the universe. According to the principle of sympatheia, we are all interconnected parts of an immense organism. This means that even the person you think is hurting you serves a purpose within the whole picture. Perhaps they are testing your patience, or perhaps they are pushing you toward a path where you will impact someone else's life. That is why certain people feel inevitable, almost as if they were destined to cross paths with you. When they enter your life, they do not just affect your psychology. They awaken an ancient potential within your soul. Just as even the smallest plant in a corner of the world has a unique purpose, every person who appears in your story has one too. And most importantly, when the lesson ends, the actor exits the stage. One of the Stoic principles that is hardest to accept is this: people leave when their function in your life is complete. Guided by the emotions they awakened in us, we tend to cling to stories that have already closed. But from the perspective of nature and the divine order, that individual already fulfilled their purpose. You may wish for the relationship to continue, but the universe knows that the lesson that person had to give you has already been learned. That is why they disappear, drift away, or leave abruptly. The ego resists, but the wise person recognizes that they already received what they needed. Therefore, the key question is not, why did they leave? But, what did they come to teach me? This simple question transforms even pain into wisdom. When you view your past through this lens, relationships take on a completely different meaning. That close friend who betrayed you taught you not to trust blindly and to set boundaries. That ex-partner who destroyed your self-esteem showed you that you cannot hand over your happiness to someone else's hands. And that stranger who comforted you in a moment of anxiety reminded you of the goodness that still exists in human nature. The Stoics invite us to see our stories not as random chaos, but as a deeply meaningful chain of cause and effect. This brings us to a concept that Marcus Aurelius repeats constantly in his meditations: inner fortress. If you want to understand why you attract certain patterns, people, and experiences, you must apply this to your life. For Marcus Aurelius, it is not external circumstances that determine your decisions or your tolerance, but your ruling center, that internal core that governs your thoughts, emotions, interpretations, and judgments. It does not matter what you say or what you believe you desire. If deep down in your inner fortress you perceive yourself as weak, needy, or a victim, that belief will project outward and attract situations and people that will make you experience exactly that. The Stoics compared the mind to a fertile garden. What you sow there, fear, anger, dependency, or courage, becomes your reality. And at this point, the law of sympatheia binds it all together. The seed within you creates your character, and your character determines your destiny, your relationships, your encounters, your repeated cycles. Nothing is accidental. They are the external echo of who you are internally. The fascinating thing is that Stoicism teaches that the mind can be retrained. If you change your judgments, you begin to consciously direct your reactions and the value you assign to yourself. And when the energy you project changes, the quality of the people who enter your life changes too. This understanding reveals something important. Most of our relationships are born not from conscious choices, but from internal wounds we have never healed. If you feel that you always attract the same type of people, or that you relive the same problems, Stoic discipline can open a completely new door for you. It is not about simple, positive thinking, but about a deep, hard, and liberating understanding of how the mind works. And when the change occurs within, the external world is forced to reorganize itself. If you want to understand your patterns and relationships with greater clarity, stop looking for culprits outside and begin building your own inner fortress. When you look back at your past with this outlook, the drama ends and inner mastery begins. The journey is not about controlling who enters or who leaves your life. It is about understanding what each present showed you, activating the virtue it awakened in you, releasing burdens that no longer serve, and making space for the construction of your inner fortress. The goal is not to flee from pain, but to give it meaning, just as Marcus Aurelius did. Along the way, you saw reflections of yourself in the gazes of others, in the excitement of a beginning, in the grief of an ending, in the fire of anger, and in the calm of a true friendship. You learned that not all bonds are meant to last forever, but each one can leave you with a new virtue. Even what arrives as a loss can become a transition toward a stronger, fuller version of you. You never crossed paths with anyone by chance. Every person was a bridge between who you are and who you can still become. Every story left a mark, not a wound, but a map. And now, seeing everything you have lived, perhaps you can finally say it with the unshakable serenity of a Stoic. Amor fati. I love my destiny. It was worth it because every encounter was exactly what it needed to be a door toward yourself, toward your freedom. See you in the next video. If this content expanded your awareness even a little, liking this video and subscribing to Stoic Virtue proves that we do not walk alone on this journey of virtue. Keep moving forward with the light of reason. Everything is in your hands. Thank you for watching.